Hi, ladies and gentlemen, I'm David Chatowsky and welcome to Painting Time. Today we're going to be painting a humpback whale breaching out of the water, and in the background is going to be the Block Island and the Southeast Light. To get familiar with these subjects, I drew a sketch of the humpback. That's how I first started. I drew a sketch, and then I took the humpback and I taped him onto my canvas, and I very lightly with a pencil I traced that, and that gave me that's how I started out this painting. I also did a small painting of a humpback swimming underwater, and this was to get more familiar with the animal. And then I went out on site and I drew a sketch of the Southeast Light. Now I did this to get familiar with the subject, and the reason is that if you take the time to go out and draw your subjects beforehand, before you do your painting, it helps with the painting because you have real reference material to make a better painting, and you don't have to figure out that much stuff while you're painting, because you've already done that. These are exercises to take to help you be a better painter. So before you start a big painting, take some time to go out and draw and get some familiar with the subject, and then set up your composition like I did by drawing it out and putting it onto the canvas that way. Okay, so I've mixed a blue with some black, and to start with making this humpback. And humpback are very large whales that show up off the coast of New England in the summertime, and one of the things that they feed on is a small fish called the sand lance. And the sand lance is in turn feeds on small shrimp-like animals called copepods. So as you can see, I've got the color, and I'm going to be painting this whale breaching. Humpbacks are very large whales. They can grow to sizes over 50 feet, and they were hunted and they are now protected, and their population, the population of humpback whales, is making a comeback, and we're very, very grateful for that. And you're going to see in just a minute, I'm going down towards the nose of the whale right here. And the humpback has very, very large pectoral fins. There we go. So that's going to be its head, and then it drops down like this. This is its jaw. It drops down like that. I'm going to grab a little bit of white, and I'm going to start making these large pectoral fins here. And this fin goes in to the body of the whale right there. I'm using acrylic paint, and with acrylic paint you add water, and that makes that's the right side pectoral fin of the whale. And then over here, and you see I added a little bit of white to that to lighten up. They have on their fins can be actually can be quite white. I'm adding a little more white. Now, very interesting about humpback whales is that they sing to attract their mate, and they will, the males will, the humpbacks come off the coast of New England in the summer, and they travel up north into Cape Cod Bay and the Gulf of Maine, and there they feed on, like I said, the sand lance, which is a very important and not very well understood small fish that kind of powers the whole marine ecosystem here in New England. But in the winter, the humpbacks go into the Caribbean. They go into the Caribbean and they don't feed down there. The females have their young. That's where they have, the young of the whale is called the calf. The females have their young. And this is its jaw right here. And I'm going to get a little bigger brush, and I'm just going to fill in here like that. But so the males will sing to the females underwater, and that's how they attract their mates. And I'm just going down. They are quite common, and you can go out and whale watching tours here in New England to see them in the summertime. Off of Cape Cod is a really good spot. Provincetown, the whales like to congregate there, and then they head north. They even go further north, up into the far north there. Okay, so we have now we're going to work on his tail, and a tail of a whale is called a fluke. And that there's a little notch right there called a median notch. And so there we have it. So there we have this is called blocking in. I blocked in the whale, and he's breaching, and breaching means he's jumping. Now I want to show you and I'm going to go in and grab a small thin liner brush, because I want to do his eye, the eye of the whale. Okay, did the eye. And then I'm going to go back and grab that lighter color, and I'm going to just clean this up really quick, like this. Let's just clean that up. Clean that edge up like that. Drop that jaw down like that. Now these are the great whales, the giant whales. I think one of the terminologies of these whales are is the rorqual, and they have a pleat right here, and this I'm going to make it right here. These are lines on the jaw, and I'm going to do several of them right here. And what these are pleats. And what they enable that jaw to do, they enable that jaw to expand when feeding, so the whale can expand that lower jaw and gather a large amount of ocean water. And then what they do These whales also feed on copepods, small shrimp, crustaceans. They have in their mouth, they have baleen. It's like it's a hard like plate-like mouth that enables them to filter the water, and on the edge it's very feathery, and it captures the krill and the small animals that they eat. Okay, they also have a very fascinating way of feeding on fish. They will, believe it or not, they will use what's called a bubble net to capture fish, and I'll tell you that in a second about what that is. So here I have now a deeper blue. I've mixed some white in that, and I've added some green, like an ultramarine blue with a little deep green, and we're going to make the ocean, and this whale is breaching. So I'm just kind of going to let myself freely move here, because you know that's the ocean being exploded by this whale. So I'm just kind of freely going, you know, really letting myself move right along to get that, and I'll show you how you. So that's the explosion of the whale coming out, and then here is the rest of the water going like that, and I will have a little below the ocean action there, and then like that. When I'm painting this type of stuff, it's not as, and then I added a little white, right? Because when you have the whale exploding, obviously, you're going to have more white on top for the splash, right? So that's a little trick that I do, a little technique, and a little darker on top here, and a little blue under, and you'll see how that works out. I have a darker area here, lighter area there, and you'll see in a little bit how that works out. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw with the paint the rest of the composition, because I've got my focus, my main focus here, right? I'm going to kind of lay this painting out so you can see how I do that. That's where the shore is going to be meeting the coast of Block Island, and I'm going to work backwards. These will eventually all be waves right here. This is the southeast. This is going to be the southeast light of Block Island, and over here on my far left would be Montauk, New York. And Montauk, New York is located equal distance from mainland Rhode Island to the island. They're both 14 miles, which I always thought was pretty interesting. All right. So once again, I'm going to thin my brush a little bit. Right? I'm thinning my brush a little bit, and I'm going to just clean up. Thin it. What I mean by that is I just added a little water to the acrylic so that it flows easier. That's it. Now I want to clean up this edge on the whale. I just thin the brush a little bit. I hold the brush a little bit further back. See that? I'm using the edge of the brush, and then that's where just clean that up. And then I'm doing horizontal strokes like this, which will help. And we can leave, I'm going to leave a little white, just a little white there. It may bring in the sunlight, and that may help in the future. Have a little white. Just clean it up. And we're going to clean up this brush here. Clean up that there. Just clean that up there. Now, acrylic dries very quickly, so as I'm working, it's drying, and it'll be dry very soon. Now I'm going to go into the island, and to start off with the island, I added a little bit of that blue to the brown and yellow, because that's where it's going to hit. You're going to have some coloration like that. It's where water hits the land. You're going to have a little bit of, it's going to be a little darker than just the land itself. You know, don't be afraid to add that little bit of green and yellow and blue. So now we're going to go up the cliffs like this. And I'm going to do these are all going to be the cliffs of Block Island here. It's looking good. It's looking good. We got our whale breaching. We're moving in on the island. So, and if you've ever gotten the opportunity to visit Block Island and walk to Mohegan Bluffs, that's what we're painting right now. We're painting Mohegan Bluffs. And there's a stair down to the water, and you go down there, and you have the opportunity. It's to see whales passing by the island there. You also have the opportunity to see a lot of other animals, including the fastest bird in the world. The peregrine falcon likes to hunt those cliffs that we're painting right now. And then here we go. So those are going to be the cliffs of the island. We're going to go down into there, and then I'm just going to grab a little green like this for the top. Fade that down like that. The main thing when you're doing this is to keep, I think, is to keep moving, right? Is to keep moving. Like I haven't stopped in this paint since I started this painting. Don't stop. And a lot of the work that you're doing, that I'm doing right now, is so helpful because we're like in the flow of things, and we're really moving fast, and it's so helpful. So now we're going to go onto the sky in back of the island here. I'm going to add a little water, thin my paintbrush, thin my paint down, and I'm going to start over here. I'm going to cover this. This is going to be our sky, and here we are going to. There's the lighthouse. That's where the lighthouse is going to be, right there. So I have like a maroon and a cad red, a brighter red. I'm mixing the two together to make this lighthouse. I am going to take my paper towel and kind of wipe that paint off, that blue paint. I don't need to contend with that blue paint right now. So let's get this. This is a focal point. This is a focus point. So the lighthouse is going to be like this. And like that. Then we're going to paint over like that. Right here. That's going to be the southeast light, which is made of brick. They actually, it's an unbelievable lighthouse, and they actually moved it, which is incredible. So we're painting this, and then for a reference on this southeast light, we're going to go up. The top is black. We'll get a little black. Make a little triangle on top. There you go. And that roof, the roof of the lighthouse is gray. So let's just add a little black, make a little gray. And I'm going to put my hand here like this, balance my arm like that. Okay, there you go. There you have it. Okay. Now, one thing I want to show you how to do, or how I do it, is to make the cliffs, make a little variation in the cliffs. I add some brown to the, let me add a little more brown. There's these cliffs, and I just go downward, you know, like that. Okay, that's all you do. That's a start. It's going to be variation, and then it goes into space. That's how you do that. And then it kind of turns the other way. Now we're going down into space the opposite direction, and that will help. You have to, in your mind, you have to envision in your mind the angles and the lay of the land. And then if we have a little bit of this brighter color, that's right here, is representing the beach, right? You saw how I started off with the reference material. I laid out the painting. I got the whale put on there, and I lightly sketched it. And then I took my acrylic paint and I aggressively went after the painting to block it in. So here we have the painting blocked in, and we're going to take some time to fine-tune it. I finished the painting of the humpback whale jumping out of the water at sunset on the southern coast of Block Island. The humpback whale's name is because of their hump on their back right here. The humpback whale also has very, very large pectoral fins that are white on the end. These are distinguishing characteristics that you can identify the whale if you're ever out and you see them. This one is breaching, and breaching means to jump out of the water. The Latin name for the whale is Megaptera novi angulae, and that means big-winged New Englander, because when the Europeans first came to New England, they encountered the humpback whale, and they named it that. Now, as you can see, I have the sunset, and the glow of the sunset is like a soft rose color, orange rose, and I just touched the tip of the waves as to capture that flow. And I also originally had the painting so that you could see underwater, but things were getting a little bit too complicated, so I calmed the painting down, and I made it so that the whole scene was of the whale jumping above the water. And that really helped me finish the painting. Now, as we go over to Block Island, over on my right shoulder, this is a very unique lighthouse. It's the Southeast Light, and it was built in 1873, and it has a green lens that can be seen from 20 nautical miles off the coast, and the lens was made from France. That, you can see how close it is to the bluffs, and it was actually moved. It's made out of brick, and the lighthouse was actually moved back, and that was done in 1993. Now, as we come, you can see the clouds that I had just dusted in before. They really worked when I added that rose color and that light, almost like a peach color to the sunset. Now, there's on my right, I have that area a little bit darker, the sky, and as we go across to the left, down to the sunset, we lighten it up. And this is the west, and that would be the east. So the sun is setting in the west, and the night is now coming to the island. This is the humpback whale was once pushed to the brink of extinction during the whaling days. They were harvested. They are protected, and their numbers are rebounding. They are still are threatened by entanglement and boat strikes. So here we have the humpback whale, and as I said, he has very long pectoral fins that are white. And I want to show you the difference between the humpback whale and the right whale here. Here is the right whale, and you can see that the pectoral fin on the right whale is very square right here. Also, the right whale has the callosities, which are very, very white on their top of their head, and they have a very, very sharp, distinguishing downward mouth structure. These are both very, very large whales that you can see off the coast of New England, especially in the summertime, as they migrate north here to feed in our waters, our rich waters here. Thank you so much for joining me, David Chatowsky. Please come again and watch all the wonderful episodes of Painting Time, and I truly hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye.
With wild nature's beauty, it's